Well, we got a tiny bit of a spoiler there. We will see Kellogg's, TACAS, Waylay, Yoru. We will see... we will...
Orb smokes onto
it looks like Exit is also hovering Waylay as well.
I really like watching TACAS play duelist. Like, TACAS was originally a duelist, but like, I think he's better now, like, because he's just a better player at this moment, I think. And so when he does flex to the duelist, it's like he gets to show off a little bit.
Yeah, and of course,
I quite like this from him.
I'm looking at Exit's general agent pool. He certainly never played Waylay in this tournament. He has played the Waylay the once before. Didn't go super well, but if he does lock that in, that is not something that we can even predict what he's going to do.
On the attack side, it's going to be quite difficult for him because he doesn't have tons of support. He does have the Paranoia Recon and maybe an Astra Stun. Like, traditionally, you see the Waylay either paired with the Yoru or with a Breach on this map. And so he's gonna be living and dying by that dash-in.
Honestly, I'm not a biggest fan of solo Waylay, but I am a big fan of Astra. So I'm sort of torn here because, you know, if we go by the example we see from teams like DRX that basically spammed the hell out of this, the Yoru Waylay has legs. The solo Waylay, I think it's a bit of a...
I think you need the other initiators around it to make it work.
I agree. So does this make you feel better now you've seen Agent Select?
No, it makes me feel worse for Twisted Minds.
What, Mini? Oh my goodness. All right, honestly, anything can happen on the server. Anything can happen at Ascension. We've seen it already. You know, these players have proved we're just not knowers. We're wrong about everything. We were so confident for Twisted Minds, you know, coming into this. It felt like mandatory going to be on the back foot. But what's more impressive is, will Mitchman finally break his curse? Can he bring this one home for mandatory? Because none of us are biased here, are we?
Can you bring it home?
Yeah, it's all on me now. It's all on me. Well, I've made my moves. I've done the best that I can.
You're going to prove everybody wrong.
I can't believe I've finally proven everybody wrong. Now we're on to references 4 people get. But yeah, for mandatory, this is a monumental moment. They have just decimated Twisted Minds on that first map, and now they're onto their pick. You're going to see that a big conversation in the last map on the desk, and even when we get into the game, is the fact that Twisted Minds on Abyss, this is some new territory for them. And one of the things that seemed the hardest to play against when we look at champions was the Waylay Yoru on this map. It is so bloody oppressive. I love the utility. I love the options. And maybe Twisted Minds won't by the time this is over. They've brought the Waylay in themselves, but they don't have that second dive with it. And I think certainly on the attack side, that makes a big difference. Still, with the orb smokes they've got, bringing in the double controllers, there's a lot that they can do. It's not quite as in your face, not quite as aggressive, but maybe that's what they need. A chance to slowly warm up into this one rather than go all in on a strat after how the first map went.
Yeah, I think the main difference is just the synergy you're going to get from TACAS and Kellogg's, and well, in perfect timing, they're both walking up together. It really is just devastating, that 1-2 punch, and it's going to be difficult to play against. The double controller might at least give them that little bit of additional delay and potential in the retake, and more importantly, they've managed to get the opener here. Sand catching out TACAS on the aggression and leaves this defense very split. In fact, it looks like they might be taking a pretty big gamble here.
1:05 on the clock, and Twisted Minds, well, they've got themselves some control, holding mid, holding A push, holding B push. They were watching for everything. The assumption, obviously, is that mandatory, being in this position, will overplay their hand. They're a man down. This is where you start to get aggressive, even more so. You see them on mid, and you try to get information elsewhere, but this has been a very, very slow play. I've seen pings coming in from the defensive side, deep towards the spawn, towards B, that
they're cheating.
I don't know. I don't think they can even have any way to know that the players are there, but they suspect it. And the stack up on B is the right call, as they're about to find out. 30 seconds, not much time to go back either. Twisted Minds are running into the stack.
Let's exit to try and take that first point of contact, but look how many players are just here ready and waiting to already going in their favor. Mikey's yet to even reveal his position. In fact, he's not needed at all. He's just sat there. He gets a load of assists thanks to the smoke that he was sat in. Other than that, it made no difference to the round whatsoever, but it was his teammates on the back of it that just run riot as they try and make their way through.
As you said, it was a pretty big... He almost went off the chair there. It was a pretty big gamble That's 3 pistol rounds now. We've seen Kellogg's on his feet, getting that injection of adrenaline to start out each half. And for Mandatory, a 1-0 start. Twisted Minds, he's probably giving them a 2-0. As the classics are brought to bear on this attack side. And really, I think, Tom, with 4 rounds on their map pick, you have to look at this and think, well, they need to find success early on. You can't see like a 5-6-0 scoreline develop, or it's going to be very hard to bounce back.
Yeah, the devastating thing is, like, a lot of the time you might look around like that and go, oh yeah, they must have had a hard read on us.
You're done.
There is no data, like literally none, unless across all maps they just happen to default back to B, which they don't. So it's just madness, and you've got to just feel like your opponent is almost in your head, or you're making mistakes that you're actually not making. So it's going to be difficult. These early starts have definitely helped out Mandatory as well. It gave little to no wiggle room. I believe they won both pistols in the last map as well, so it's been a rough time for Twisted Minds, and yet to really see anything that's suggesting otherwise. They're rotating back towards A, where the full Cypher setup is, and just look how far Takas has gone up. That's why they're rotating. He is already basically in their spawn.
Careful now.
Well, the Trips caught one. Zemo not going to have a good time, nor is anyone on Twisted Minds. A flawless round. And you know, with the classics, sure, you're not going to do a lot of damage, but anything here would have been valuable. With Mandatory going for a big investment, it was with 3 Bulldogs, an Outlaw, and that Ares, and they get all of those weapons carried through to the next round. Very valuable for this defensive side as they now come in to what was, at least in the first half of the previous map, it was a 3-0 start because of pretty much the same scenario.
He's got a waylay trip. That's why that's up there. And try and catch the player dashing above. We'll see if that ends up being an issue for Exit. He was fairly well shut down in the previous map, and this is the trouble. With this double duelist, especially on, you know the attack's going to be good. You know the set plays on the attack are always going to be tough to play against with the double dive.
Whoops.
But it allows for aggression on either side of the map. You had the early peek into middle, and then a somewhat ridiculous push already from Takas. Like, he has just taken over full B control. Now, sure, they're patiently waiting, but the rest of the team can now gamble a little bit more on, okay, how are we going to play around mid? We've got the Cypher set up on the other side of the map. And I think they're probably sat there even on the defense right now and going, well, where are they? It's been almost a minute, and they have taken no map control.
Take flight.
Well, the drone sent out's at least going to catch Takas, but he still has that dash to just get right on out of there. Playing towards that backside, Exit on his way through, Refract online, caught by the paranoia of his own teammate. He's forced back, and that's space on the site given back to Mandatory. With the smokes down, they can hold on to it. 35 seconds. The only other presence they have on the map, a trap covering A, pushing a player in mid. Going back 30 on the clock doesn't seem like an option. They wait for the smokes to fade, and they close in the distance. This fight on backside, oh, the flash is perfect! That was sent in by Kellogg's. And you said about the 2 of these combining, look how much success they've had. 15 seconds, no chance for a plant elsewhere. Damage, I guess, is all they can hope for. But there's so many rifles being retrieved and even bodies being sprayed.
God, this is brutal. It's a bonus round where they still had the likes of an Ares. You sort of mentioned it. There was a lot of mixed weapons in this round, and they made it look incredibly comfortable. It might be early, but I want to see a pause already from Twisted Minds. Like, this has just been an absolute blitz of a round. And as I said, that's the terrifying thing. Like, there are a few players where I sort of sit and look at them in the synergy they have with teammates, and Takas is one of them that I think is one of the best. Think about back to him and Natonk. Like, that duo on the old mates roster was just filthy. Like, they would have these setups where you would have Bayaz sat somewhere on the map, basically in spawn with a stun, just like, where do you need the stun? And just fire it off. And then you had just the synergy that Takas had with his fellow duelist, in that case, Natonk. Here, it is Kellogg's, and that was just beautiful. Knew when the flash was coming, both players completely blind, 2 of the freest kills he's ever going to get.
You know, one of the things that I look at this for Twisted Minds, they got to choose where they start. They chose the attack side, but running into these blockades this quickly is a major panic sign, because I think when you haven't played the map in officials, it's so much harder to then go to your B plan, your C plan, your D plan. You don't have those protocols developed and fleshed out as well as you would usually on pretty much any other map. And so here, the early timeout makes even more sense. I couldn't agree more. Like, 3-0 down, I've criticized coaches. I'm sorry, Pipson. I've done it before. I think it's a very early time to call it, but that's because normally you have these, like, first couple rounds planned out. Here, I understand that the plan needs to have a lot of changes. Yeah.
One kill, that was Sand in the pistol round. And that was the first kill. That was the first kill of the whole game.
Which is important because it means 2 flawlesses in a row gives Mandatory also a huge benefit when it comes to the economy.
Oh. They know TWS is here somewhere. Already, dive above, a nice amount of damage, and actually, the turn back around grants a kill. Nobody else was here. They've done well off successful aggression in the early rounds from the likes of TWS, but now he's gone. Are they able to recover?
The 3-0 up curse, man. It's always a 3-1 in response. Twisted Minds, they need that to be the case. 2 rifles to work with. I was going to say still that Bucky, but that has quickly faded away. And the smoke in main now going to put some pressure on. But Jesse delivering onto Enzo's, taking the numbers into their favor.
I must wait a moment.
The defusal spotted to not be being stuck, so they've got a little bit more time to play with here. Already halfway to defuse. The grab will block, but the spray from Sand is good. Comes in with the Sheriff, and well, he's grabbed them around as a result. That was looking spooky for a moment. The Twisted Mind's not going to let this one slip too far.
Yeah, I was going to say, up until this round, the first 3, it looked like they were playing kind of scared. Like, sitting back in the spawn, waiting for aggression, waiting for their opponents to make a move. This round was completely different, which I do think in a low-buy round is a little easier to do. You're not gambling very much, so you're going to take more risks. But I want to see Twisted Minds do that more. That's what I've enjoyed about this team. They're very direct. They follow in, well, their leader in the terms of exit, the first man into the site. And this round was all about it. He just takes a risk, dives into the site, hits a shot, and then his teammate follows up with a kill. An immediate response, though, with a severe amount of aggression.
They're ready.
They are waiting again. They've gone back to that passive hold, and Exit's just about going to get out of there.
So is Mikey. Thankfully, TP's across, so he's out scot-free. But for a team that was looking lost starting this out, round 3, where they had that first full buy, was abysmal. And I'll honestly put last round down to a mistake from TWS. This one, the bit of aggression is fine, but the previous one, position was bad, didn't have a refract in the right position, used his dash early without really finding much for it. He was isolated, and they punished him for it. And then got boots on the ground, upgraded weapon, and it spirals from there in the post plan. This time around, for Twisted Minds to make that adaptation, to say, okay, they're going to push now, they're going to get aggressive. I love that. This is a great read. The ult online for exit.
Okay.
It matters where it goes. In fact, they're not even going to send it in, and he doesn't quite make it to the trip. Now he knows that they're ready for those dashes.
Hey, that was the idea. Try and catch him. Kellogg's instead. He's eliminated 2 very quickly. And now the spam has found another. Sikri trying his best, and he's done well. A double for himself. Spike not planted, and a flank coming in from Mikey. It leaves it all down to Zemo.
I have the spike.
Definitely not had the greatest of performances so far this tournament. They need him to show up in this round.
This is a big one with low HP on Hip. That pick before they could group up would have been so valuable. Hip, if he goes up top too early here, this could be very dangerous. He's got to sink it with his buddy Mikey, but the head peek angle's good enough to catch Zemo falling back. The op picked up, the defuse secured. The neural theft online for the next, and after a 1-round win, Twisted Minds reset back to that loss. The 3-round gap maintained.
Oh, that second shot from Kellogg's is disgusting. Just as the smoke was about to bloom, maybe a little bit risky on the attempt on the third one, running through the smoke, but hey, he's feeling it at the moment. 6-1, that was his first death. And well, across the board, that has been the case thus far. Still a purchase. And a lot of ultimates to play with for that attack side. Still a possibility of a response. I'm looking at that convergence path as some real potential, especially with how aggressive the defense are going to be again.
Oh, this is chaos. but Zemo's the one coming ahead in those fights.
Uh-oh.
Enzo's kind of caught in no man's land. Same spot as TACAS, certainly no fallback. He's got to stand his ground, finds his first, makes it a backside, but Paranoia's hot on his tail. Exit can't wrap around that corner, but the shock dart drops Enzo. Numbers kept in favor for Twisted Minds, but the neural theft sent out. Hip, he's looking for a kill. He's looking for a fight, a risk taken here. He baits them in, but it's Jesse to take him out before this gets too risky. With keloqz miles away and up in a 1v3 retake, he doesn't want to risk it. This will be a 4-2 scoreline locked in with the save of keloqz.
Yeah, that super aggressive push they've done twice has not worked out for them. It's clearly a plan being made by the defensive side that, okay, they're going to try and put the pressure on this side of the map. And although the utility landed, I think it was the paranoia forced all of them back. It just ended up not connecting onto everybody. And with how Twisted Minds have been waiting outside of that position, I think it needs to be a different style of play for Mandatory, because the fact is, those are the only 2 rounds that have actually gone Twisted Minds' way. Every time they have pushed in towards that B side, every time they have tried to take that all-in fight, those are the rounds that they have lost.
Yeah, I think time to retire that plan, I suppose. They tried to perfect it this time around, but well, perfection seems a few stretches too far away. Still, though, bringing over a big weapon in the form of that operator. keloqz 7-1. It's a great start. And he's the one getting aggressive, the man with the gate crash. Although with the drone, he is forced to fall back, and it looks like they'll be forced to play retake towards this B site. Cosmic Divide completely locking out any chance of impact before it falls. I mean, I can't imagine keloqz is going to go running through that wall.
This is going to get messy. A convergence path on either side. Dimensional drift, where I assume they're going to try and combine it. There you go. And oh, he's going to stick it! Oh, just about makes it into the TP as well. That's huge. Get one off the Hunter's Fury, one from keloqz himself. They still have a Hunter's Fury on the other side, though. They need to find that pick. And I think they're even trying to bait it out. Try and bait out the ultimate, but it's not being used. I think Sikri realizing, okay, there's too many players on the other side. We need to at least get a frag or 2 before that becomes valuable. And now he's gone all together. No chance for Zemo. And while those ultimates used wonderfully for the side of Mandatory, they will get themselves that retake and even have 4 players standing at the end.
That's nuts. Sticking it, jumping off the map and catching the shorty kill, TPing back out, then finding Sikri later on. But crazy impact from keloqz.
This is the thing we always said about keloqz. Like, keloqz, even on his prior teams, when he was confident, he was one of the scariest players in the world. I still remember, I think there was a clip on Pearl. He gets aggressive on B-side with a blade storm and just kills everybody. It was one of the most ludicrous plays I've ever seen. But when he wasn't confident, he was off the deep end. Well, it seems like they've managed to find that balance a little bit more within this team. And he's just taking risks, but they're paying off every single time. Enzo ends up being the switch to the bait. And that's already, well, the major danger man gone. They'll at least retrieve the gun off his corpse. They're taking damage in response.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous play to come up against. That spam in towards A main. They're looking elsewhere. Zemo has already given himself away. That operator still chiming in for a couple of kills. He's going aggressive. Look at where keloqz is.
He's
up against an eco.
One enemy
He's gone
remaining.
running it down. And this is what you said, Tom, about confidence for this guy. In each pistol round, we've cut to the cam. Mandatory winning all 3. We've gone in and we've seen him on his feet. He's given high fives. Hell, I think he almost took Hip's wrist out at one point with the way he dapped him up. And this is terrifying. We talked in the first map about how there was an early pause by Twisted Minds, not as early as 3-0, but early enough. And we didn't want to see that second one thrown through. Or often you don't see it thrown through because you want to save it for the second half for the problems that could emerge there. Keep in mind, on the defensive side of this map, a map they haven't played an official on, Twisted Minds, they could be put under a lot of pressure. They could need that moment to chat with the coaching staff. But it's called in here, 6-2 down after a dominant map 1. Mandatory are putting the pressure on, bringing the heat against Twisted Minds in map 2. And you can see that it's getting to that attacking side.
It was mentioned on the desk that the lack of play that we've seen from the Waylay for Exit, and I think that might be part of the reason for the pause. Like, if this guy's going to be diving into sites and trying to take the space, if there's no response every single time, it's just not enough, and he's been completely shut down wherever he's gone.
I think on Lotus, when they played it against BBL Pacific, if my memory's not failing me, Exit was 8 versus 1 in opening duels in the first half on their attack.
He did have 20 kills, so that would make sense.
Now he's 1-8 in just duels, period,
Yeah.
starting out this map. This is a completely different attack side from the man who was responsible for that Lotus victory, who put 31 kills on the board, who looked unstoppable, who was dry swinging Lover's Rock, for Christ's sake, when he had an off and winning round after round, back to back at times. And look at them now, Twisted Mind struggling. This pause, I mean, they've got to come up with something. Lightning in a bottle. Oh, that's almost an opening pick
so
given.
Close. That's a lovely set piece. Straight after a pause as well. You could tell that that was something that Mandatory were waiting to throw in. And there's the second layer twist. And this shot from Kellogg's. And well, a few hits and a few missed shots for Enzo. That's how the Odin works.
It is. You'll miss a few shots usually.
Yeah, I'd say it's normally like a, what, 1 to 50 ratio of hit to miss. Maybe when you use it.
Calm down, mate. I've got some lineups. I might not be Brock, but, you know, or Enzo.
You're definitely not Brock.
Well, I could be one day.
He's tall.
It's true. I actually got a creak in my neck just talking to him for 30 seconds. It was an embarrassing moment for me. Someone was like, "You want a picture?" I was like, "No, no." This is Enzo deep with the play on the Odin. You don't see that every day. Kellogg's waiting on the other side. Pressure put on here. Exit going to put him in the dirt. Finally, we see Kellogg's fall at the hands of the duelist on the other side, but there's another duelist on the other side, and it's TACAS now wrapping up behind. Twisted Minds don't have a safe fallback. No part of the map to play with right now, and they've got to fight for it tooth and nail if they want to have any kind of foothold. It looks like they'll just sit down on the site, and this could work out if Zemo can find value in this smoke.
Yeah, there's only a few places they can be, though, and that's the thing. It's been figured out, or at least it should have been. One player's gone round, and that gives Zemo a chance. It looked like they had the right idea. Unfortunately, he has managed to find a gap. Still, though, low HP for Zemo. He needs to try and hold on, and he lands the shot as savior in the midst of real danger for Twisted Minds. He has managed to bring that one through. A third round for Twisted, and a desperately needed one.
Yeah, he might not have won that 1v2 earlier, but here by a fraction of HP, 5 health left in his bar. And he's delivered a shot that may just turn the tide in their favor. I love to see that as well. That same energy being brought in their room. He's on his feet. He's hyping up the boys. 3 rounds on the board. Hell, this is what they managed in the first half of Lotus. And a chance for much, much more with 3 left to play for.
Yeah, those are the sort of rounds that can change a match. They've been waiting for this peak almost every single time. It's an impossible angle for Kellogg's to check, and has worked out wonderfully in the openers. This has been what they've expected. This aggressive stance on B, and as I said, it has been a failure. Every time Mandatory have tried in a really deep B push, they have died. They still keep going for it. The double back will now head in towards the A site, where they've definitely had a much tougher time. Hip setup and the retakes caused them quite a lot of issues.
Every time it has been a failure of the round, like you said, when they push up. This time, well, it is towards the A site. Twisted Minds were taking B. They were capitalizing on the space. Now they push into a site where there's numbers and nasty spam coming in from Enzo. Shock dart fired. Another attempt to delete a planter, and it's going to be the drone now sent through. Attack here could be deadly, but it wasn't found. Sand almost picking him off. It's Mikey that goes down, and Jesse from the rope has managed to bring this back to a 3v2 advantage for Twisted Minds, and caught reloading. TACAS falls. The attack side back on the board. They burned through both of their pauses early on Abyss, but it seems like it was worth it as they course correct to what could be a 6-6 half.
I think a lot of what was probably talked about by the coaching staff was much more of a personal thing than a a play style thing. Because they're still doing those same holds, grouping up and then going for the execution, but you're just starting to see some of those players come back into the game. Jesse climbing up that board, and pressure beginning to be put onto Mandatory. They were 6-2 up in the lead, but its half is definitely not over just yet. Another aggressive push, and the Cypher setup switched to B. But this time it will be the full retake. However, that was the better of the setups, and we saw it played before.
He stuck it. Mikey straight into the spawn. They're clearing. Some of these angles behind that Cosmic Divide, when they walk on through, this could be dangerous. It all comes down to Sand and whether he can catch him off or not. Now he has the information. A free pick for him. But many players grouping up with Jesse down. They know where Sand is, looking to put the pressure on. Sand finds another, delaying this wrap around, but the spam catches him. It's nasty from Enzo. In a 2 versus 3, Twisted Minds have the spike, but the time has not been ticking. Not quite quick enough for them with Zemo. Oh, he's got one on the side, a foothold, and it's doubled down on. Hip left to do it all, and now it should be too far gone. Indeed it is. The save, the only remaining option. What a climb back from Twisted Minds. It felt like they were holding onto a cliff's edge by their fingernails, but they are pulling themselves up slowly but surely.
I think from a couple of the players, it was a solid reaction. They get boxed in on the flank. Sand did fantastically well to hold on as long as he did. If he goes down without a fight, the round is over. But while he's doing that, Zemo is adjusting into position with Exit, who got aggressive. They knew they were flanked. They knew they were screwed from the back line, but they at least could hold on to some of that front line positioning. Stopped Hip from boxing them in completely. Good mid-rounding.
Don't miss me too much.
And now a chance to level things up. A couple of rounds ago, before that pause, I had absolutely no belief we could find ourselves level at the half, but coming in with a Hunter's Fury, a decent buy, and the momentum in their sails.
Enemy tagged. My ult is ready.
To go through the whole defensive side without a timeout, but for Twisted Minds, looked like they would have needed a big comeback. Same old story from Lotus, but thankfully, this is a different chapter in this best of 3. 6-6 half will help them out. And it looks like a new strat moving towards this A trip, breaking it and blitzing in, putting Hip under an enormous amount of pressure. He can be swung on very quickly here. Inside the smoke for now, as Hunter's Fury is going to be fired through from Enzo. It's into the choke point with a lot of players, but Hip is caught. The sight is lost. Takas makes it costly for the other side.
Brought it back.
30 seconds
Exit's
left.
still getting aggressive though. Takas has been caught a couple of times from this exact position, and in fact falls back. I don't know if he'll expect anybody to be this close, so many won't. Exit running back around, ultimate being thrown in, a chance to delay, but Kellogg's has done well. Mikey's found another, it's gone back into a winnable position, but Mikey's so desperately low, the paranoia used instead to try and force players into his teammates. Twisted Minds desperately trying to clear him from the back, and while they focus on him, well, he's going to get a kill, and now Sand is all that's left. Even still though, he's managed to turn this into a winnable position, waiting for the player on the other side, but Mikey wins all the fights. I don't know how he survives this round, but Mandatory will be glad he did.
Yeah, really nice TP from him to get the second, but he got baited in by Sand. Couldn't quite hit the shot, but ends up closing it out anyways with a lead for Mandatory. 1-0 up in map, 7-5 up in rounds, and a BO5 calling their name, but Twisted Minds aren't giving up just yet. Let's see if they can take us to map 3 after the break. Welcome back, folks. It's time to find out if this story ends on Abyss or if Twisted Minds can bring us all the way to Haven. This has been a close battle. A very different story to what we saw over on Lotus, where Twisted Minds looked down and out.
I feel like you say they're the least risk-taking players. That's what the stat was saying. But it's also hard to take the opening duel when you have TACAS and Kellogg's on your team. Like, those guys are normally there first. I think you'd have to be running in. But this is the side where I think this composition shows why it's really valuable. That double duelist attack side dive is so difficult to deal with. I quite like this setup, though. A 3-man layered defensive hold of mid. The rest of the players basically just looking for contact. But eventually, they've had to give up on it. And well, they're rotating the right way.
Well, that's a trip and a half. The backside cover that TACAS might be running into. Mandatory looks set to take this site, but look how many are here from Twisted Minds. This is definitely the expected hit. Sentinel, utility, and 3 players. An initial shot hit onto Sand. They have no read on how many more are here. Hold on, maybe they do. TACAS, he's managed to sniff out exit, and he will send him out of the round eventually. But there's a bit of a tussle on the front of the side. Oh my God, delete the VOD. Jesse left to do it all. It could have been a bit more of a bite-sized situation, but he's got to take 2 players down, both 50 or lower. He has no idea where they go. Only 1 now.
Oh, bit of a mistake. The 2 safe men were left, but now only 1! And Jesse from the top rope is going to take out him. An important clutch for Twisted Minds. They are most certainly back in this game.
Wow, what a round. This was TACAS.
I wonder if we're getting a slow-mo.
Eventually gets the kill, but this, I wish I could just never see it again.
Who could have seen the slow-mo whiffs coming?
Oh, I think he put a hole in the hat. Certainly
I'm
did
just
enough
glad we
damage
didn't have
in
the
end.
other POV as well.
Little remix. I think that might have been from the missed shots initially.
Yeah.
Not so much
I don't
from the
think
Jesse
that
kill.
was. Maybe they just really don't like Jesse.
Oh, not Jesse
my
winning
least.
around,
I was going to say he was bad.
Shot done.
Well,
Standing
from a
ahead.
6-2 lead, this is looking like a very different story. Twisted Minds have found their footing. Well, I would say almost exactly at the right time. The game was almost looking like it was gone. But some hero plays, some individual brilliance, and they should be level.
Well, a minute on the clock. Exit looks to get contact here. Still has his dash to get out. So he can stick around for quite a while, and that's going to be a danger for Mandatory, although it looks like a smoke has sent him backwards. A wise call, considering those pistols could just emerge for that smoke at any given moment. And the rotation is underway. But Sikri's coming to mid, and I think he's going to spot them on the crossover here. There's one already seen. Nice shot, too. And he can just tuck in now. That's the information on the rotate back. It looks like they're even going to
30 seconds left.
reinforce mid for a moment. I like that. You see Sand coming to help him out, make sure he gets out safely. And then they can just go back into a site that they know is secure thanks to the Sentinel util.
Oh. Time a ticking.
10 seconds left.
Standing ahead.
It really is getting low. Any chance of a plant?
1 enemy remaining.
Seemingly dissipating. Oh, you know what? They got it. It's obviously for Twisted Minds, they're going to be happy. They keep that one nice and clean. The majority of orbs have also gone the way of Sikri, so that Hunter's Fury is getting devastatingly close to being online. Maybe not for the next round, but going into what will likely be their first proper buy. And now, okay, sure, there's only a Sheriff on him, but I wonder if he'll upgrade. If he does, he buys straight. Well, okay, he bought and then sold. We'll wait a second, but if he does come in with a rifle for this round, this buy definitely has some legs to it.
I mean, even without I think for Twisted Minds, you know, we've seen from Mandatory a lot where they buy up to 5 weapons. Everyone's coming in armed to the team. Twisted Minds had that little bit of extra wiggle room, I suppose.
Balance.
They could have lost a player and not felt too bad about it, yet here they are. Not needing to invest very much, still being able to trade blow for blow, and then having a lot of credits stacked up on Sikri if they want that early operator.
What do you think of the attack side Odin in the first buy?
You know, it's good for spamming that B box. Give it that. But
Okay.
it's not something that I've explored too much of.
Do you reckon it's almost solely for post plant?
I'd imagine so.
Like,
I mean,
just to be able to spam onto the spike once anybody tries to defuse?
I do think spamming backside B can be decently impactful, but yeah, you're going to definitely find it a lot harder to use on this map in general, and also on the attack side than you do on the defense. It's a curious investment, but I guess just speaks to the confidence. I'm not one to doubt Enzo.
I was about to say, it's called the Enz Odin, not the Mitch Odin. So... we'll see.
Thanks for that, Tom.
Maybe he, you know, I've got to
What do you
defend
think
my
of this,
boy.
Mitch? Actually, I don't care. You're an idiot.
You know.
Thanks, man.
You're supposed to give me confidence in it, and you didn't. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe Enzo can do that himself. Already into the site. It's Takas, but it is going to be the Odin to get the opener. A decent start, and they don't even know that Takas is here. He took the space, but just played as the snake in the grass.
Player standing.
Mikey, a safe pair of hands once again, and well, we won't get to find out about the post-farm.
Planted.
Unless Sand can pull off an incredible retake with a Spectre. Not a bad start.
Oh, very good start considering the weapon he had. And now an upgrade to a Bulldog. And Kellogg's has jumped off the map.
Yeah, he fell off the map.
I'm guessing TP'd and didn't realize it was falling. This is now looking very scary.
I think he just fell. I
is the
genuinely
savior.
think he just fell. I thought I'd watched him just walk off the map.
Well, the one thing I can tell you for sure is that Andy's going to give us a replay of it.
I hope so.
Never misses an opportunity.
That goes there.
This is like where he's gone for coffee break real quick. It's like, wait, what
He
happened?
was too busy making a slow-mo, so
here we go.
whipping a shot.
Yeah, as I said, phenomenal weapon. The Odin for the attack side. Love it. Never doubted it for a moment.
Yeah, he just steps off. He just steps off. I thought I saw it in my peripheral, but you have to have that second guess of, was that the fake out?
Like, decoy,
in my mind, it's like, yeah, okay, that must have been the decoy, and then I see him die in the kill feed.
A little bit. I've almost got the angle. Just a little bit more. Oh, unlucky.
Well, mistakes happen, and that was a round where they would have been hoping to really build up the economy. Instead, immediate use of the convergence path, but it's a retake setup. A few trips to be found and exit. That's a great start.
A phenomenal opening. Will they catch the reveal that's just gone up towards the back of the side? They did as well, so denying any of those spams that could have come through and dealing with those players that have already dove in. Exit's not happy. He wants a bit more, and he gets it. He's going in for more again. And again, someone stop the man.
Enemy remaining.
He's not going to dash at them with an AWP. He's not going to do it. He has. He's going crazy out here. The shots aren't landing. But hell, he survived somehow. That was ludicrous.
I think that might be the greatest whiff montage I've ever seen. Like, just in the fact that everything looked like it was about to be cool, and then he doesn't hit any of the shots. But he definitely worked as a wonderful distraction for his teammates, who were able to swing it and take the fight afterwards. Nonetheless, he's not going to care. And we spoke about the confidence of a duelist. Kellogg's maybe having his knocked a little bit by falling off the map, and Exit definitely starting to build.
This goes here.
8-8 from 6-2 down. They've managed to respond and put the economy of Mandatory back to basics. It's hit with a Cypher Stinger as the one non-pistol.
They've made it through. Closed in the distance, but Sikri not going to be too caught off guard by that. The comps were good, and of course when you see Double K just go up and the door is broken, you know exactly what's coming your way. All these weak weapons. That's not really what you want to see. Sikri got a little greedy for the info and found out the hard way. There's still players here. Neural Theft comes into play. Zemo now could be under threat. Look at them grouping up in the smoke. They want to push him down. They want to punish him, seeing that he's isolated. Now they found another. He wasn't isolated, but Exit tagged up and forced back. Jesse falls with no trade. This is now looking very scary indeed, but Exit's always been reliable. He's a man to put up numbers. Maybe not with the operator in the last round, but usually a safe pair of hands in these moments. He certainly needs to be, as getting up close against this Stinger's risky. Spike going back in the other direction. With exit so low, he's looking to get out of there alive.
Yeah, he does as his name suggests, but
30
the
seconds
fact
left.
is, Hip is just selling a ruse. He's trying to keep people on this side of the map. The unfortunate truth, though, for Mandatory is they didn't manage to get any of the guns. They killed 2 players, but the rifles still remain. The main thing that will play into their hand now is the time and Kellogg's position. If he can find something from here, and in fact, the whole team are playing aggressively. They have to use these weaker weapons well.
Those steps are heard. I like this. Twisted Minds making the right call to group up together. Smoke goes to spawn. That should delay them. Kellogg's, he's going to be checked. Only half checked. Sand didn't see the left corner, and he'll be dropped as a result. That's a weapon to be retrieved in the post plant for Kellogg's. That could be deadly. They've already dealt with Mikey, though. Hip needs to survive on this site. He can be a real dagger in the back, and it looks like he will be. Diving into the smoke with a Stinger, a deadly combination, and Mandatory. They find their round finally with a thrifty win. They'll keep the lead.
Yeah, that's going to be one that I think might haunt Twisted Minds if this map ends up slipping away from them. Just, I think a few players getting a little bit overzealous in fairly risky moments. And
I mean, even look at Sand there. Like, they intentionally move to group as 3, and then he steps out, not really fully clearing mid. Like, that can't really happen.
Pressure maybe getting to them, but actually it's Mandatory to take a timeout. And I don't think Twisted Minds will be too upset about that one. Give the coaches another chance to talk. Bear in mind they used both of their pauses within the first 8 rounds of this map, but if you look at the timeline when it comes back up, it was round 9, 10, and 11 that got them into this map, so they were worth using at that time. I'm not mad about it at all. But with mistakes like that and their tournament life on the line in this map, a victory here for Mandatory would send them into a grand final versus Ulf. A match which I genuinely think will be very, very close. The youngsters from Turkey definitely proving themselves. It'll be them versus the experience of Mandatory, unless Twisted Minds have got more to show. Now, economically, Mitch, they do. They're still buying this round.
Yep, they're able to invest. They're able to get the op on exit, which might be a debuff based on one of the previous rounds. But
he's great for taking space with it.
He is, yeah. He sets you a support op. That's what you love to see.
I think Adren did that in another game.
Well, a 1-round gap for Twisted Minds, like we said earlier. It's fingertips on a ledge. A loss here sends Mandatory spiraling into the lead. To that attack side, ulti's online. Kellogg's and Enzo can combine to make this a very uncomfortable round for the defense. First of those already sent through. The gate crash closing distance. There's one spotted. Does Hunter's Fury get popped? Yes, it does. Now they know they're under pressure. Zan feels the danger, and Kellogg's becomes it. The shorty takes him out. He thought he only had to dodge the Hunter's Fury, but it's Kellogg's. The dagger in the back again. The Twisted Minds on the back foot. They do have Convergence path for the retake and the op to set up if they can push them offside.
But look at where the attackers are. They are playing so far back. They're trying to avoid that ultimate. They definitely know it's online. They're leaving potentially the one man who could avoid it. The spam. Does Exit know he's there? No, he's not. The patience. It takes real balls from Takas to think that one out. And it will be enough to win the round. Confidence is key. And this man is king.
So we talk about trigger discipline. That's another level. Not even one shot fired back. No. He double bursted you with a shorty. And he stands his ground. What an absolute madman. That's the way they break the economy. The Twisted Minds. I would be furious to be Exit, to be anyone on the defense there. Especially when you look at the damage done after the round.
Oh, yeah. You're going to just think, if I just shot one more time, but why would you? The one rifle sent in early. Well, Takas is on the hunt. If the last round wasn't enough to prove that he was feeling pretty confident, I think you've now witnessed in this round that, yeah, he's having a good time. Demo nowhere near the action, and he's being hunted as well. Converges path online for Takas going into the next, and a few ults on the other side, but from what was starting to get dangerous, Mandatory have managed to streak 3 in a row and are just 2 away from finding themselves in that qualification match.
There.
Twisted Minds winning this BO3 last time around in a close matchup. Well, it's a completely different game unfolding in front of our eyes. Mandatory 3 rounds up. And this could well be the last stand of the defense, the last stand of Twisted Minds, not just in this series, not just in Ascension, but this year. Arguably the biggest game of these players' lives on that defensive side, and the pressure must be unlike anything they felt before. Takas lurking around that corner, and even if that all peeks into him, I'm backing him after the last couple of rounds. But the thing is, the rest of the team's coming to meet him, and they have no idea just how much space Exit's taken. They might drone, they might reveal, but it could be at the cost of a player's life that they find out this off is up aggressive, and it will be. Mikey down. They've lost their smokes. Lost it from the shadows, but they've not lost the advantage as we're back to a 4v4.
Immediate usage to take space. Takas spots the info, but that also allows Hip to claim the space. He's just stayed up there, already making his way through mid, and Enzo, whoa, he's gonna try and get aggressive. Ends up plummeting. The double back around, Kellogg still looking to try and get up in their face. Both duelists have been a massive issue for this Twisted Mind sides, and if you get past one, the other normally appears. They're running in together. Hip around the corner, Kellogg with one more, and it really is just falling apart. Sikri, he still has time to play with, but he needs to be quick.
One enemy remaining.
They're gonna give him the fight though. That could be dangerous. Not knowing where Kellogg's is. Clock not low enough. The need to sprint, and he will manage to wipe them all out. Needs to get there fairly quick though. I don't know if he's got this. It's going to be incredibly close. I don't think he has. It's going off in the end. A really nice attempt, but unfortunately just took that split second too long.
Oh, you have to feel for Twisted Minds. The round where Takas tanks 2 barrels of a shorty and ends up with 3 kills because of discipline, unlike anything I've seen before. And now 1 away. You don't need a flex to tell you that. 12-8. 4
Mike
chances.
is the only one who hasn't left his seat, by the way.
Yeah, he's comfortable. Yeah. He's comfortable.
Chilling.
4 chances to lock in their slot in the BO5 for some of these players. A chance to do almost the unthinkable, to ascend again. And for others, a chance to right the wrongs of history and find themselves back in VCT.
Pressure already onto Sand. The supportive utility for Takas, and he's looking for this fight. The reload, and the other player is stuck in his util. Takas might have just closed it. Again, this man just takes liberties with aggression. And it is done and dusted. Mandatory from losing 0-2 last time they played just a few days ago have come back and 2-0'd them back.
All the way from the group of death. It looked like they wouldn't be here. They wouldn't make it anywhere near the tournament, and now they've made the run of dreams all the way to the finals. 1 best of 5 stands between these players and the dream of every player in Tier 2.